Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video on another dead Walking Dead saviour, or two to be exact. Today we're going to be looking at both George and Chris, two saviours who get gunned down by Carl in Season 7. George is of course male, he is played by Brian F. Durkin, he is late 30s to early 40s and first appeared in Sing Me a Song. Chris is of course male, he is played by Ricky Russert. He is late 20s to early 30s and first appeared in Sing Me a Song. Nothing is known about their lives pre-outbreak, but after it began, they soon found and joined the Saviours, helping to subjugate other communities and take half of their supplies. They also lived in the Sanctuary, it appears. Just before the episode, they set off to the hilltop to take some of those precious supplies. In Season 7, Chris and George accompany Simon and some others to raid on the hilltop. After getting some supplies, they pack up and leave, Chris and George not knowing Carl and Jesus in the back of their truck. Eventually they come across a herd and stop on the side of the road. Using a mirror, George checks on the herd whilst Chris chomps down on some of those veggies. George mentions it's coming to the end of the herd, and Chris is impressed with Negan, blowing up the zombies with explosives. George brings up it's Fat Joey, and Chris tries to say he's only good for eating cake, but George defends Joey by saying he's the one who rigged up the explosive. Guerrilla kind of stuff. Chris is confused and asks, what kind of stuff? And George is like, guerrilla warfare, mentioning how they use explosives they found, including the Alexandria's RPG. George then spots the end of the herd and the two men head off. Eventually they reach the sanctuary and pack up. Negan demands them bring in the stuff ASAP. They joke that there's plenty more where that came from, referencing the supplies, and they get in the truck to retrieve said supplies. George grabs a box of bottles and they fall through the bottom of the box and smash, and George suddenly notices Carl holding a machine gun, and this happens to George. Shot to death by Carl Grimes. Chris is able to run away though. Carl emerges from the truck demanding Negan, and Negan comes whistling. He tells Carl he scares the shit out of him, and Chris must have thought that's the opportunity to prove himself as brave to his boss as he attempts to grab Carl's gun, and this happens to Chris. Also shot to death by Carl. Both of their bodies are likely buried in or around the sanctuary. R.I.P. George and Chris. George and Chris are just two saviours who are given names really, but I do like the fact that we get a sense of who they are before they die. George is a confident, smart guy, and Chris is, well, a bit of a dick and kind of dumb. Of course, their deaths are lifted right from the comics too, which is always cool to see. Tell me your thoughts on Chris and George, and I'll see you in the next Saviour video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.